Good evening and welcome to TUC Half Hour, the official weekly television program of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. We are pleased to have you join us for the show today. I am your host, Ave Michael. On today's episode, we'll be highlighting a recent visit by leaders of organized labor to the Port Harcourt Refinery. This visit took place on Monday, the 9th of December, 2024. The TUC delegation was led by its president, Comrade Engineer Festus Osifo. The essence of this visit was to take a physical tour of the old Port Harcourt Refinery, as well as ascertaining its operational status since the rehabilitation of the plant. Labour leaders seized the opportunity to call for the replication of the NLNG model in its operations and ownership in all of the refineries. But before we get into more information on this visit, let us unravel our trivia question for the week. Kindly stick around to the end of the episode to find the right answer out. TUC Half Hour continues after the break.
Thank you.
Recently, Labour leaders from the Trade Union Congress and Nigeria Labour Congress visited the Port Harcourt Refinery to assess its operations. TUC President Festus Osifo, who is a mechanical and petroleum engineer, confirmed that the old refinery is operational and producing high-quality petroleum products.
From the human-machine interface, clearly, this screen you are seeing is showing the main distribution column, the main distillation column. This is 10C501. You can see all the streams going out, naphtha, kero, LGO, HGO. So you can see from here, these boardmen are manipulating the parameters. Basically, temperature, pressure, flow rates. They manipulate these parameters to split the crude. You can see how they are keeping it very steady with products all going to tank.
Is where whatever processes is being done within the refinery is reflected, managed from here with the state-of-art technology, as you can see from the screen. The CDUs, whatever it is, we'll see it here, and the folks here ensures that they monitor. And if there are challenges, they will now highlight it, and then at the refinery to be fixed. What I'm trying to emphasize is to ensure that the refinery is working, is scientifically proven that is working with this system, and then is a check and monitor and dictate the kind of refining and process where is being undertaken in the refinery. While we live here, the control, that's why whenever we come here, we'll look at what exactly is happening within the full cycle of the refining processes. And then we'll go there, we'll take samples of what the crude processing is being done, the kind of product that we have. So this is real, online, real time, that the folks here who are doing our O&M are watching and monitoring. So that if Nigerians and all of us are comfortable that this refinery is running, producing, refinery, producing and refining. And then, of course, with all the various products that we produce here in the old Port Harcourt Refinery. PMS, which is gasoline, kerosene, AGO, LPO, etc.
The inspection tour was aimed at verifying the refinery's functionality and output standards following extensive rehabilitation efforts.
For you to see it, you see the flame. Chief.
Currently, the refinery is operating at 70% of its full capacity. There has been controversies regarding its operations, with allegations of blending petroleum resins with naphtha instead of processing crude oil.
Which one do you want? No PMS. PMS doesn't come out from a plant. Okay, let me have kerosene. Kerosene. Let me have kerosene. No, we don't have vision for now, but we'll do from the other plant. Kerosene? Kerosene. Please smell it. Please smell it. Please confirm it. I hope you are confirmed. This, you see how clear it is? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good. Okay. Okay. So let me have SRG, straight run gasoline. So straight run gasoline is a basic component of PMS. For PMS, it's a blend of many components depending on what is available. But the guideline is you must meet the quality. And some of these qualities include the research octane number, the motor octane number, the read vapor pressure. You understand? So these blends, you can have up to a dozen components that are used for PMS, including butane. Because in cold region, you need things like butane. Okay, so if you smell it, you see that it's very close to PMS. No, it's not PMS. But it smells like. It's not, but it's the base. Gas oil. So help me open it, touch it. See, this is diesel. Diesel, touch it. Touch it. Touch it. It's not adulterated. Yes. Of course now. This is, yes. Touch it. Touch it. Of course not.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPCL, defended this practice as standard industry procedure.
Thank you. So you can see the turbines too. These are steam driven.
Concerns were also raised about the quality of petroleum products, with claims that some products have been stored for the past 3 years. The NNPCL refuted these claims, asserting that the refinery is operating at 70% installed capacity and producing new products.
Open now, Chief, open. So you're going to see the flame now. Don't know what it is.
During the visit, the contractor informed the labor leaders that 150,000 barrels per day new Port Harcourt Refinery is 90% complete.
We have times the old Port Harcourt Refinery, and it has more complexity. It has a cracker. It has other value-adding units. So as you can see, with the level of work that is ongoing, I said it starts with integrity checks, and those parts that have failed, we are replacing.
This facility, this asset, is under rehab for an upgrade than before. And there's an established governing process so that it should continue. When it's up, when the rehab is completed, it will be up and running and to the state of art compared to any refinery around the world. So that is it. There will be compliance, HSC, all the assurances and compliance will be met. And that's why a total rehab is being made. From the contractor's view, techno mode, which we are doing, and from the report they send us, they are up to over 90% completed, and we will deal with that as soon as possible. And we are following up through and ensure that we get value, and then we have a combined 60,000 with 150,000 barrels per day, 210, so that will support our refining processes and products, and with the multiple effects that would have on a refining product, finished products that we design in this country, so that we have sufficiency, those for export and import and our consumption, especially the PMS, ETC and other products like AGO.
I have actually visited a refinery that was built somewhere in 1945. And that particular, somewhere in Europe. And that particular refinery, I visited that refinery in the year 2010. So that shows that refineries can usually last even up to 100 years. We have a refinery today that is close to 100 years and is still working. So my question is just the strategy that is going to be put in place to ensure that after the rehabilitation, after the refinery comes on stream, what is the strategy that will be put in place to ensure that it doesn't go down again, apart from when we are doing periodic maintenance?
We ensure that we have an established and professional technical O&M team that will continue to operate and maintain our facilities, and that's why you see around the world, if you don't operate as and when, with inclusive of the turnaround, you have issues. And that also involves looking at the processes and the asset, replacing those aging items that needed to be, and ensure that the refinery is up and doing. I think that's the fundamental, and as I said, we're looking at the best O&M teams around the world to support our process, and we will be monitoring to ensure that we comply with best practice around the refinery across the world. So those experiences that we had from 1965 to date, we put a lot of governance structure so that it doesn't fail us again. Thank you, because it's a national asset. Until we put that database together, we'll be able to analyze and ascertain so that we get exactly what Nigerians want. But by and large, we have sufficiency. We must satisfy Nigerians first before we export. I think that's the key point.
They emphasized their opposition to privatizing the refinery to cronies, advocating for a management model involving both the federal government and international oil companies as applicable in NLNG.
The plant startup, we're taking through the processes, talking about the procurement processes and talking about the engineering processes and all that. So after the conference room conversations, we now have to also do a plant tour. And going through the plant, we were shown the various processing units. We were shown the burners, we were shown the heat exchangers, we were shown the compressors, the turbine, and how all these processes tied into the production of a petroleum product as at today. So relatively and to a very large extent, we are satisfied. I and my team, we are satisfied with what we have seen, with the level of work and the level of detail that went into it. The old Port Harcourt Refinery was actually built in 1965, but with the re-engineering of the entire process, you could say that we have a relatively new refinery today. Because when you see an engineering process whereby you are having new compressors, you are having new turbines, literally all the pumps are new and a lot of the lines were changed, the heat exchangers. So if the major component of a process plant like this were procured newly and installed, you could say to a very large extent that the refinery it's relatively new. So, but we also went to the other Port Harcourt refinery, the new one supposedly that was built in 1989. So we also went through the plant and we were also assured that most of the rehabilitation processes, that a lot of the sub processes are about 80-90% completion. So we are also expecting that in no time soon that the new Port Harcourt refinery will come on stream. So beyond that as well, one of the things we are really interested in is not just fixing the refineries today. It's not bringing the refinery to operations, but how do we sustain the operation so that we will not go back to where we were before now. So we're also interested in that, and they told us that they want to bring about the O&M strategy, the operation and maintenance strategy. They are looking for the best people in the world who could help in maintaining this. But I wish to also reiterate, last week we had our Pengasan National Executive Council meeting. We've reiterated over time that government should bring about the NLNG model in the operation of the refineries. You all agree with me that NLNG is one experiment that has worked very well, that turned in dividend to government year in, year out. So for us, our interest is sustaining the production level of the refinery. So we felt in Pengasan, and over the years, we have championed that the NLNG model should be brought to bear, because we strongly believe that bringing in that model in the operation of this refinery and in determining the shareholding stake of the refinery, it will be much more sustainable, because we are interested in sustainability of this plant. Yes, don't blame Nigerians. Don't blame Nigerians. For a system that has been down for that long. And you also know that there is trust deficit between the Nigerian populace and the government. And this deficit has existed for a very long time. So for Nigerians to be skeptical, there is really nothing wrong with that. But over time, when this production is sustained, when we now have truck load in and load out, then everybody will come to that realization. So don't remove the trust deficit that has existed. So it is not just about the refinery. It's about government telling us that they have done X, Y, Z. And before now, we found out that it's not really true. So it is because of that trust deficit that was now extrapolated into the refinery operations. But really, they said seeing is believing. So we come in here today to reconfirm this. It's also in our, when anybody talks to us, we are not reporting from a position of we were told. We will not be reporting from a position of we came and we saw, and that is where we are today. So don't blame them.
They took us around to reconfirm what we already know, as an insider. Well, before I came here, I knew that the place was working, But however, having been taken around and I saw the massive investment that was made here, I believe too that selling this entire project, to some individuals will not be to the interest of Nigerians. So I want to join, my TUC and Pegasus counterpart that the LNG model should be adopted in running, this refinery, and not a wholesale at all. A wholesale will not be interest of the sector, or also not be interest of Nigeria.
Well, that's it for the show today. But before we draw the curtains, let us reveal the answer to our trivia question for the week. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media handles displayed on the screen for prompt updates and information. Until next week, I am Ave Michael. God bless Nigerian workers.